Before you ever opened your eyes to this day, before your feet touched the floor this morning, I was already fighting for you. You don't see the battles I fight, not the ones in the heavens, not the ones in your heart. But I fight anyway, because I love you. You were on the verge of giving up. I saw it. The silence in your prayers, the weight behind your laughter, the way your eyes scanned the room but never really saw it. You kept going, yes, but you weren't really living. You were surviving. So I sent whispers, small things, unnoticed by most. A song that hit you in a way you couldn't explain. A stranger's kindness that stayed in your mind for hours. A verse that popped up in your feed at just the right time. That was me. Trying so hard to reach the one who keeps thinking they're unreachable. I saw the storm building around you. And no, I didn't stop the lightning, but I stood between it and your heart. You were never hit the way the enemy intended because I fought. You think you're forgotten because the pain is loud? But beloved, pain has always had a volume higher than peace. That's why I whisper. Because when you slow down enough to hear me, that's when healing begins. There were nights I stood beside your bed while you wept, and I placed angels at your door. Not because you asked, you didn't have the strength to ask, but because I knew you needed it. The fight I fought for you, it wasn't with sword and fire. It was in silence, in the stillness of mercy, in the restraint of wrath, in the patience of grace. Do you know how many times I could have let you fall? Truly fall. But I didn't. Because even in your rebellion, you were mine. Even in your distance, I claimed you. I fought for you to see this. Not a sermon, not a doctrine, but this truth. You are loved deeply, eternally, ferociously. And it doesn't depend on your perfection. It never did. You thought the silence meant I wasn't moving. But don't confuse my stillness with absence. I'm not loud like the world. I'm not noisy like fear. I speak in the heartbeat, in the pause between thoughts, in the tears you won't let fall in front of others. I fought so hard for you to see this moment, to read these words, to feel me wrap around your weary spirit like a blanket on a cold night. There is something about you the enemy fears. That's why you've been attacked in ways no one else knows. You're not cursed. You're called. And callings cost something. Your peace, your future, your destiny, it's been under siege because of its power. But I've been defending it even when you weren't sure it was worth defending. When you chose to numb instead of pray, I stayed. When you ran to empty places, I followed, not to punish you, to rescue you. Because that's what love does. You think you stumbled onto this message, but I guided your steps. Every delay, every misdirection, every detour, it brought you here, right here. Because now you're ready. Ready to hear what I've been trying to show you all along. You were never alone. I was there in the hospital room. I was there when they walked away. I was there in the courtroom, the car crash, the heartbreak, the breakdown. I never left. Even when you screamed at me, even when you cursed my name. That didn't drive me away. It broke me, but it didn't stop me. I'm your God, the one who fights when you're tired of fighting, the one who stands when you've fallen again, the one who keeps saying, "Come back," even when you keep saying, "I'm done." You've fallen, yes, but you've also risen. And that rising, that didn't come from your own strength. That was me,
breathing life into bones you thought were already dust. Every time you said, "I can't go on," and yet you did, that was me. You didn't quit because I refused to let you. I didn't save you to leave you. I didn't call you to abandon you. I didn't create you for you to live a small, broken life in shame and guilt. I fought so hard for you to see the beauty in yourself that I already see. You are not just a mistake I fixed. You are a masterpiece I designed. Stop measuring your worth by their approval. They didn't create you. I did. And when I made you, I said, "It is good." Even with your flaws, even with your scars, even with your failures. Because I see the end from the beginning. And I already see you whole, restored, radiant. But for now, let's start here. Let's start with you breathing again, laughing again, trusting again. I know it's scary. I know you've been hurt. I know your heart has been lied to. But I'm not them. I don't love like them. I don't leave like them. I stay. Even when it's dark, even when you run, even when you break your promises. I stay. And I keep fighting. Because one day, you'll finally see what I've been trying to show you. That even in your worst moments, you were still worth loving. And I never stopped. Not once.
You don't realize what I protected you from, what was circling you in the dark, what was written against your name. But then I stepped in. I tore up the plan the enemy had crafted, the lies he whispered into your wounds, the chains he forged from your shame, and I shattered them. You think you're weak because you feel broken, but brokenness isn't weakness in my kingdom. It's the beginning of glory. I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be willing to let me in, willing to stop hiding, willing to lay down the mask. You've worn it for so long, haven't you? Smiling when your soul was in ashes, laughing while your spirit begged for silence, carrying others when your knees were collapsing under your own weight. You learned to perform healing before it ever reached your heart. But I'm not asking for your performance. I'm asking for your surrender. Because I can do more with your "I can't" than you ever could with your "I'll try harder." Stop performing. Start resting. Rest in me. The world has convinced you that rest is laziness, that peace is unearned. But my peace isn't like theirs. Mine is violent in the spirit. It breaks curses. It shatters lies. It sets captives free. That's what I'm offering you. But to receive it, you must first let go. Let go of the lies. Let go of the labels they gave you. Let go of what they did to you. Let go of who you thought you had to become just to survive. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to shrink. I didn't breathe life into you just so you'd live in fear. I formed you in your mother's womb with purpose, on purpose. Every heartbeat of yours is permission to be here, to take up space, to speak, to matter. You don't have to earn that. You already have it. But you've forgotten, haven't you? They told you love had to be earned, so you worked and gave more and broke and bled until you forgot what it felt like to be loved just for existing. But that's how I love you. I loved you before your first prayer, before your first breath, before your first sin. My love isn't reactive. It's not a transaction. It's the foundation of everything. That's what I've been fighting for you to remember. Remember who you were before the betrayal, before the failure, before the trauma. Because that person, they're still in there. They didn't die. They were just buried under pain, under fear, under expectation. But I'm uncovering them. I'm peeling back the grief. I'm digging through the rubble of your disappointment, and I'm calling that person out. Like I called Lazarus from the grave, like I called Moses from exile, like I called Peter from his shame. I'm calling you now. Yes, you. You who think you've gone too far. You who think it's too late. You who think God only speaks to others. I'm here. I'm speaking. And I'm not done with you. You were lied to. They told you your mistakes disqualified you, but what they didn't know is your wounds have become altars. Your scars are holy ground because you kept walking, even when limping, even when crawling, even when no one else noticed. That's faith. And that's the kind of heart I can use. Not the proud, not the polished, but the one who cries out, God, I have nothing left, but I still want you. I honor that. I come rushing into that. And I will rebuild you. Not in the image of what the world says is valuable, but in the image of your true self, the one who knows me, the one who walks with me, the one who was created to carry glory. You think your story is over, but you haven't even seen the best chapter yet. You think you've lost too much, but what you lost cannot compare to what I'm about to place in your hands. I restore, I redeem, I resurrect, and I do it with joy because I want you, not just your cleaned up version, not just your worship, not just your good days. I want you at your worst, because even then, you're still mine. That's why I fought so hard for this awakening, for this moment of clarity, so you would know. You're not an accident. You're not too much. You're not too late. You are exactly where I can reach you. Every valley you walked through, I walked it with you. Every fire you survived, I stood beside you. Every time you whispered, God, where are you? I whispered back, right here. But you didn't hear me. Not because I was silent, but because the noise of your shame was deafening. Let's quiet that now. Let's replace the noise with truth. You are loved. You are chosen. You are pursued. And the enemy has no authority to steal your identity any longer. I fought so hard for you to see this, that you're not just surviving, you're awakening. You're rising. You're stepping into the truth of who you are. And that truth will shake the gates of hell. Because when my children remember who they are, darkness trembles. So go ahead. Weep if you need to. Break if you need to. But don't stay there. Because grace is picking you up. Mercy is holding you steady. And I am still fighting for your heart. Every moment, every breath, until you know, beyond doubt, you were worth it all. You still wonder why I haven't let go, why I keep coming back, why I still speak into your silence, why I still call your name even when you ignore me. It's because you are my child, and a parent never stops pursuing their lost child. Not when the night falls, not when the storms rage, not even when the child forgets who they are. You haven't disqualified yourself. You've just been wounded. But wounds don't cancel destiny. They deepen it. Do you hear me? The very place you've been bleeding is the place I want to bless. I'm not avoiding your pain. I'm walking straight into it because I've never been afraid of the mess. I came for it. I came for you. That ache in your chest that never goes away, I see it. That disappointment you've buried beneath your responsibilities, I feel it. And the shame you've masked with busyness, I've carried that weight. You were never created to bear it alone. So give it to me. Hand me what you've been hiding. Your broken prayers, your unspoken fears, your shattered expectations. I can take it. I can carry what crushed you. I already have. The nails didn't just pierce my hands, they pierced your pain. The cross wasn't just punishment, it was rescue. I didn't suffer to impress you. I suffered to reach you. So when you feel unworthy to come near me, come closer. I don't need you to clean yourself up. I need you to come as you are. I'll wash the dirt. I'll bind the wounds. I'll lift your face from the dust. Because I see what they couldn't see. I see purpose where others only saw problems. I see glory where others only saw sin. I see a warrior where you only see weakness. You're not broken beyond repair. You're broken open, so I can pour in healing. I want to reintroduce you to the version of yourself I created before the pain distorted you.
You think you've changed, that you're no longer the person you used to be. And in some ways, you're right. But here's the truth. You haven't lost yourself. You've just been buried under the battles you never asked for. But I've been digging, removing layers, calling you out. Like light breaks through darkness, I'm breaking through the fear you've been living in. Not just fear of failure, but fear of hope. Because hope betrayed you once, didn't it? You believed, you dreamed, and when it fell apart, you blamed yourself, blamed me. And now you flinch when good things come near. You sabotage peace before it can settle. You doubt joy before it can grow roots. But I'm telling you, it's safe now. You can breathe again. You can trust again. Not because life will be perfect, but because I'm holding it all in my hands. The hands that were pierced are the same hands lifting your chin today. The battle wasn't to make you stronger. It was to bring you closer. Because you were never meant to survive without me. Your strength was never in your independence. It's in your surrender. You thought giving up meant failure, but surrendering to me? That's the beginning of true power. Power to heal, power to love again, power to rise again. This isn't the end of your story. This is the middle, the turning point, the moment where darkness loses its grip, the moment where the enemy realizes you're not giving up. Because I haven't. And if I haven't given up on you, you don't get to give up on yourself. Do you know what I see when I look at you? I see resilience. I see fire in your bones. I see the one I chose before time began. Not because you're perfect, but because you're mine. Even when your faith is a whisper, even when your heart is numb, even when you don't feel me, I'm there. Some of the deepest miracles happen when you feel nothing. Because faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent obedience. Sometimes it's choosing not to give up. Sometimes it's just breathing through the night. And I see it all. I count every breath, every tear, every ache. Not one of them is wasted. Not one. Your pain is a seed, and I'm watering it with my love. You will bloom again. And when you do, the world will see what I've always seen. A survivor, a light bearer, a child of the Most High. Your identity isn't in your failure. It's in my favor. You are not what you did. You are not what they did to you. You are who I say you are. And I say you are enough. I say you are free. I say you are chosen. This is the part of the story the enemy didn't want you to reach.
The part where you wake up, the part where you remember, the part where you begin again, not from scratch, but from strength. Everything you've walked through has prepared you for this moment. You're not starting over. You're rising higher. So lift your head. Wipe your tears. Feel your heartbeat. That's me still fighting for you. And I won't stop. Because I love you more than your past, more than your failures, more than your fears. I love you into your future, and that future is radiant. I'll keep whispering. I'll keep healing. I'll keep reminding you, you were worth every battle I fought. Because you are my beloved. And I fought so hard just for you to finally see it. There were things meant to break you, and they almost did. You were on the edge so many times, and no one knew, not even the people closest to you. You laughed, you worked, you posted, but inside the weight was unbearable. I saw it, I felt it, and I fought. Because what you didn't see, what you couldn't see, was how close you were to something sacred. Breakthrough always feels like breaking at first. That pressure wasn't punishment. It was preparation. I wasn't trying to crush you. I was drawing out the treasure within you, the kind of treasure that only comes through fire. You thought you were being buried, but you were being planted. And planted things don't die. They rise. That heaviness that settled in your chest each morning, I felt it. The numbness you've tried to explain but couldn't, I understood it. You didn't have to say the words, I heard your heart. Every time you whispered, God, I can't do this anymore, I was there whispering back, yes, you can, because I am with you. You are still standing not because you avoided the fire, but because I walked with you through it. I didn't take you out of the storm. I became your shelter in it, and that shelter still stands. It stands when they leave. It stands when things fall apart. It stands when your knees buckle under fear. Because my love is not weather dependent. It doesn't shift with the seasons. It doesn't leave when you're messy. It doesn't shrink when you're faithless. It holds. And I hold you. I've seen the rooms you cry in, the texts you deleted before sending, the I'm fine replies that weren't true. I saw every one of them, and I stayed. I didn't turn away from your struggle. I sat with you in it. That's what love does. Real love doesn't flinch when the mask comes off. It gets closer. I've been closer than the pain, closer than the guilt, closer than the voice in your head telling you you'll never be enough. And now I'm speaking louder than that voice. You are not a burden. You are not too much. You are not beyond healing. You are deeply loved. You are being restored. And you are being called forward. There's more for you. More joy, more freedom, more peace. But to receive it, you must let go of what no longer fits. Let go of the identity shaped by trauma. Let go of the image you had to create just to be accepted. Let go of the guilt that never belonged to you. You've been dragging dead weight, but I'm inviting you to rise. Not in your own strength, in mine. Let me carry what you can't. Let me show you who you really are. Not the version you became to survive, but the one I dreamed of before the world touched you. The one who laughs freely, the one who loves without fear, the one who stands unshaken even in the wind. That's the real you. And I've been calling you home. Not to a place, but to a person. To me. I am your home, where you don't have to try so hard, where you don't have to prove anything, where your scars are safe, where your tears are welcome. Come back.
not to religion, not to performance, but to relationship. I miss your voice. Even when you don't know what to pray, even when all you can do is sit in silence, I love that silence when you're with me. Because I don't need fancy prayers. I just want your heart. I want the late-night thoughts, the things you're too afraid to tell anyone, the dreams you buried, the questions you're too ashamed to ask. Give them to me. I already know them, and I'm not offended. I'm honored to be the one you run to. I'm not fragile. I can handle your confusion, your doubts, your anger, your heartbreak. Bring it all. I won't push you away. I will gather the pieces and make something beautiful, something whole, something holy. You keep asking why it's been so hard, why the pain lingers, why the healing feels delayed. Because I'm not rushing your process. I'm walking it with you. I'm not in a hurry to fix you. I want to love you through it. I want you to know me in the fire, not just in the victory, but in the valley. Because it's in the valley that intimacy is born. That's where you see my heart, not just my power, but my tenderness, my patience, my gentleness. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for connection. And right now, we are closer than ever. You just don't see it yet. But you will. One day you'll look back and realize I was there in every moment. I was the strength in your weakness, the whisper in your chaos, the light in your midnight hour. And you'll understand why I fought so hard to get you here. Because this version of you, this healed, surrendered, radiant version, is the one that will break generational curses. The one that
It wasn't random. It was strategic. The enemy saw your potential before you did. He targeted you, not because you were weak, but because you're dangerous. Dangerous to the darkness, dangerous to cycles, dangerous to everything that held your family captive for generations. You're not just living for yourself. You're breaking chains for others. And that battle you're in, it's not just about now. It's about tomorrow and the generation after you and the ones you haven't even met yet. That's why I fought for you, because what's on your life is bigger than you. You were never meant to just survive. You were born to set captives free. But I had to take you through the fire, not to burn you, but to refine you, because what I'm placing in your hands requires pure hands, and what I'm placing in your mouth requires a purified heart. You asked me to use you. I said yes. But I also had to prepare you. And preparation doesn't always feel like favor. It often feels like frustration, like silence, like isolation. But isolation isn't rejection, it's formation. It's in the quiet that your roots grow deep. It's in the hidden place that your strength is forged. You thought I had forgotten you, but I was hiding you, protecting you, strengthening you for the weight of the next season. You were never being overlooked. You were being covered. And now, the covering is lifting. Now it's time. Time to walk in the fullness of what I've been building in you. But don't go back to old mindsets. Don't carry forward the fear that held you hostage for generations. This is not the season to shrink. This is the moment to rise. And you won't rise alone. I'll lift you. I'll steady you. I'll sustain you. Because I fought for you, not just to save you, but to send you. You're a light in places others won't go, a voice for those who've been silenced, a reminder that grace is still real because you've lived it. You are not disqualified. You are commissioned. And the world is about to see what I saw all along, a child of God, marked by fire, covered by mercy, overflowing with purpose. So don't hold back. Don't hide anymore. Don't silence the testimony that nearly cost you everything. The very thing you thought disqualified you is what I will use to set people free. Because nothing is wasted in my hands. Not the pain, not the delay, not the tears you cried alone at 2 a.m. I saw them all, and I caught every one. They were not lost, they were planted. And now is the beginning of harvest. This is the moment I've been fighting to bring you into. So take a deep breath, lift your eyes, and walk with me. We're just getting started. You've grown used to waiting for peace, waiting for clarity, waiting for the pain to finally loosen its grip on your chest. But you don't realize what's already shifted. You've been so focused on what hasn't happened that you haven't noticed what I've already healed. You haven't seen how far you've come. Look again. That old wound, it doesn't sting the way it used to. That familiar voice of shame, it's quieter now. That weight that used to paralyze you, you're carrying it with more grace than you thought possible. You've changed even if you can't see it yet. And that change, it didn't happen because you tried harder. It happened because I never stopped working in you. Even in the silence, I was speaking. Even in the stillness, I was moving. Even in your wilderness, I was planting streams beneath the surface. Because you don't need to feel me to be held by me. Faith isn't measured by how loud your worship is. It's proven in the quiet choices. When you chose to forgive, when you chose to get up, when you chose to love again even when your heart still trembled. That's where I live. That's where I move. That's where my glory begins to rise in you. You keep waiting for a sign, but sometimes the sign is the fact that you're still here, breathing, believing, fighting to hope again. That's evidence enough. You don't need a miracle to prove I'm real. You are the miracle. Because I remember where you were, how lost you felt, how numb you became. And yet now, you feel again, you cry again, you care again. That's not weakness. That's resurrection. I am raising you from things you didn't even know were killing you. The bitterness that hardened your voice, the fear that disguised itself as control, the hopelessness that looked like realism. I'm breaking it all, not with a sword, but with love. Love that wraps around you when no one notices you're slipping. Love that walks into the mess without flinching. Love that refuses to let go of your hand even when yours tries to pull away. That's the kind of love I've been fighting to show you. Not the kind that demands perfection, not the kind that disappears when you fail, but the kind that stays, that heals, that restores, the kind that died for you. You've heard the story before, the cross, the nails, the blood, but maybe you've forgotten. That wasn't just for the world. That was for you. I saw your face while I carried that cross. I heard your voice in the crowd of time, and I kept going, not out of obligation, but because I couldn't bear eternity without you. I fought for you in death, and I fight for you in life. I've walked with you through shadows so deep, even you forgot what light looked like. But I didn't stop shining. That tiny flicker inside your soul, the one you tried to smother, that was me. I wouldn't let it die. Because one day, I knew you'd need that flicker to become fire again. And now, it is. You're burning with something you don't yet understand, a hunger for something deeper, a restlessness for something real, a holy ache to be seen beyond performance. That's me, calling you home. Home isn't a building. It's not a group of people who only love you when you smile. Home is where you don't have to pretend. And I am your home. I'm the one who sees what you bury, who understands what you can't explain, who sits with you in your questions without rushing you into answers. I'm not asking you to fix yourself. I'm asking you to bring the pieces, the jagged ones, the tired ones, the ones that still tremble at the sound of old lies. Bring them. I'll hold them with tenderness. I'll whisper over them truth that doesn't sting. I'll pour grace into the cracks until they become windows for my light to shine through. Because your scars, they're not signs of shame. They're signs that you survived. You survived what was meant to kill you, what was meant to silence you, what was meant to steal every ounce of hope you carried. And now you're carrying something stronger than hope. You carry testimony, the kind that sets others free, the kind that breaks chains when you speak it, the kind that drips with the oil of someone who has been through it and didn't let it destroy them. This is why the battle has been so fierce. The enemy didn't come after you because of your weakness. He came after you because of your impact. He saw what I put inside you, and he feared what would happen if you ever realized it. He feared your awakening, your voice, your authority, your presence in rooms where darkness used to win. You are not a threat because you're perfect. You're a threat because you survived. And survivors carry power. You're not here by chance. You're not breathing by accident. There's breath in your lungs because I'm not done. I still have more for you. More than survival, more than numbing, more than scraping by in a life you've outgrown. I have abundance, not the kind the world markets, but the kind your soul has been craving. Peace that makes no sense, joy that doesn't depend on outcomes, love that rebuilds everything fear tried to tear down. This is what I've been fighting for. This is why I kept chasing you, why I kept showing up in songs and strangers and sunsets, why I didn't walk away when you did, why I stayed when you stopped praying. Because I knew, if you could just see me clearly even once, you'd never go back. And now, you're starting to see. Not just religion, not just rules, but relationship. You're starting to feel the warmth again. You're starting to lift your head. You're starting to hope again. That's me, right here, right now, still holding your hand, still whispering, I love you, still saying, let's keep walking. We're not done. There's more to build, more to redeem, more to live.
And I can work with that. I can build with that. I can turn your pain into power, your waiting into wisdom, your battle into breakthrough. You keep asking me when it will get easier, but I need you to see this. Peace doesn't come when the storm ends. Peace comes when you realize I'm in the boat with you. You haven't been alone, not for a second. Every time you thought no one saw you, I did. Every time you felt forgotten, I was still writing your name across the heavens. Every time you thought you failed me, I leaned in closer, not further away. Because real love doesn't walk out. Real love leans in. And I am that kind of love. Steady, fierce, relentless. I fought for you not because you owed me anything, but because I couldn't bear for you to keep living beneath what I died to give you. I gave my life so you could live yours. Not just survive it, but live it, fully, freely, with joy, with purpose, with rest. You're not too late. You're not behind. You're not broken beyond repair. You are right where I can reach you, and I have no plans to let go. So today, take another step, no matter how small, no matter how shaky. Your progress is not measured in miles, it's measured in moments. And this moment right here, this willingness to keep going, is enough. Let me handle the rest. I've got you. I always have. And I'm not going anywhere. There are parts of your story you still hide, wounds you keep bandaged in silence, moments you wish you could erase. But I need you to hear me. I see it all, and I'm still not turning away. You don't have to hide the chapters that hurt. You don't have to keep pretending the pain didn't shape you. Because the truth is, I can use it all. Every betrayal, every rejection, every failure. Every time you whispered, I can't do this anymore. And yet somehow, you did. That wasn't weakness, that was grace. You thought it was all falling apart, but in heaven's eyes, it was falling into place. Because I build with broken things. I restore what others throw away. I redeem what the world forgets. And I've never, not for one moment, regretted choosing you. You think the mistakes disqualified you, but I don't build leaders from the polished. I build them from the pressed. You've been pressed on every side, pressed in your faith, pressed in your emotions, pressed by expectations, by grief, by shame. But you haven't been crushed, because I placed something unbreakable in you. My spirit, my breath, my fire. And fire doesn't die in pressure, it spreads. You've been wondering why the attacks came when they did, why people walked away just when you needed the most, why the walls started closing in when you thought you were doing everything right. It wasn't because you failed. It was because you were stepping into something holy, and hell knew it. So the battle got louder, but so did my presence. I know you didn't always feel it, but I was there. When the silence was deafening, I was in the silence. When the world went cold, I was the warmth that kept you breathing. When you had no words, I sat in your soul and wept with you. Because I don't just lead from above, I walk with you. And I've walked with you through some things no one else knows about. Rooms you never speak of. Shadows you keep locked behind a smile. Grief that comes in waves when the world thinks you've moved on. But I know, and I'm not rushing your healing. I'm walking you through it, moment by moment. Because you're not just a project to me, you're a person I love. And I will love you through every layer, through the tears, through the questions, through the nights you feel too tired to try. I'm still here, not disappointed, not frustrated, just near. Because I didn't save you to, you're not behind. You're not broken beyond repair. You are right where I can reach you, and I have no plans to let go. So today, take another step, no matter how small, no matter how shaky. Your progress is not measured in miles, it's measured in moments. And this moment right here, this willingness to keep going, is enough. Let me handle the rest. I've got you. I always have, and I'm not going anywhere. There are parts of your story you still hide, wounds you keep bandaged in silence, moments you wish you could erase. But I need you to hear me. I see it all, and I'm still not turning away. You don't have to hide the chapters that hurt. You don't have to keep pretending the pain didn't shape you. Because the truth is, I can use it all. Every betrayal, every rejection, every failure. Every time you whispered, I can't do this anymore. And yet somehow, you did. That wasn't weakness, that was grace. You thought it was all falling apart, but in heaven's eyes, it was falling into place. Because I build with broken things. I restore what others throw away. I redeem what the world forgets. And I've never, not for one moment, regretted choosing you. You think the mistakes disqualified you,
But I don't build leaders from the polished. I build them from the pressed. You've been pressed on every side, pressed in your faith, pressed in your emotions, pressed by expectations, by grief, by shame. But you haven't been crushed, because I placed something unbreakable in you. My spirit, my breath, my fire. And fire doesn't die in pressure, it spreads. You've been wondering why the attacks came when they did, why people walked away just when you needed the most, why the walls started closing in when you thought you were doing everything right. It wasn't because you failed. It was because you were stepping into something holy, and hell knew it. So the battle got louder, but so did my presence. I know you didn't always feel it, but I was there. When the silence was deafening, I was in the silence. When the world went cold, I was the warmth that kept you breathing. When you had no words, I sat in your soul and wept with you. Because I don't just lead from above, I walk with you. And I've walked with you through some things no one else knows about. Rooms you never speak of. Shadows you keep locked behind a smile. Grief that comes in waves when the world thinks you've moved on. But I know. And I'm not rushing your healing. I'm walking you through it, moment by moment. Because you're not just a project to me, you're a person I love. And I will love you through every layer. Through the tears, through the questions, through the nights you feel too tired to try. I'm still here, not disappointed, not frustrated, just near. Because I didn't save you to abandon you. I didn't start this work in you just to watch it fall apart. What I began, I will finish. And not just finish, I will finish it beautifully. But I need you to keep trusting. Even when you don't understand, even when nothing makes sense, even when it hurts. Because what's ahead of you is so much greater than what's behind you. I've been preparing a place for you, not just in eternity, but here. A space where you can breathe. A space where your gifts come alive. A space where your story brings healing. A space where you don't have to fight to be seen, because you are known. But before I bring you into that place, I have to bring you through the process. And I know the process is hard. It hurts to release what you've known, to walk away from patterns that once kept you safe, to loosen your grip on what feels familiar, even if it's been hurting you. But trust me, you're not losing control. You're gaining peace. You're not falling behind. You're being set free. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Positioned for peace, positioned for healing, positioned for influence. Because the anointing on your life requires more than comfort. It requires capacity. And I've been building that in you all along. You thought it was just pain, just delays, just disappointment. But in every moment, I was stretching you, widening your spirit, deepening your faith, preparing your character to hold the weight of what I'm releasing. You've been asking me to open the door, but I've been asking you to open your heart, to let me.
And now that version of you is ready. Ready to speak what you once kept silent. Ready to go where fear used to stop you. Ready to love again, dream again, believe again. This is not the end. This is your release. I'm not just healing your past. I'm launching your future. I'm calling you into places that need your voice, people who need your story, hearts who need your kindness. Because what broke you birthed something holy. And now you carry what the world cannot offer. Peace that doesn't shake, joy that doesn't leave, love that doesn't demand anything back. You've become a reflection of me, not because you earned it, but because you let me in. You let me into the pain, the failure, the dark corners where religion said I wouldn't go, but I went anyway. Because I never came for perfect people. I came for the crushed, the weary, the ones who were barely hanging on. And now, you're no longer hanging on. You're rising. Grace isn't just holding you, it's pushing you forward. Favor is surrounding you. Healing is flowing through you. And the things that once haunted you, they no longer own you. I've redeemed it all. Every broken piece, every forgotten prayer, every night you screamed into your pillow, "Why me?" Now you'll see, not just why you suffered, but why you're still standing. Because you were chosen, not for an easy life, but for a powerful one. A life that shakes darkness just by showing up. A life that whispers freedom in rooms where shame used to rule. A life that makes people ask, "Who is your God?" And when they ask, you'll tell them, not from a stage, but from the steady place of someone who's been there. You'll say, "He met me when no one else stayed. He loved me when I hated myself. He didn't give up on me when I had given up on him." You'll say, "He didn't just save me, he fought for me." And that will change lives. Because the world doesn't need more sermons, it needs more stories. Your story. So speak. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if you feel unqualified. You're not here because you're perfect. You're here because you're willing. And that's what I bless. Not performance, but surrender. So take a deep breath. Look at how far you've come. Not just outwardly, but inwardly. In your soul, in your spirit, in the way you see yourself now through my eyes. That's what I fought so hard for. Not to fix your behavior, but to restore your heart. To remind you that you were never forgotten, that you were always loved, and that your story, even the parts you tried to erase, has always mattered to me. This is the unveiling, the awakening, the beginning of a new era. You're not going back, you're going forward, and I'm walking every step with you. No more fear, no more shame, no more wondering if you're too much or not enough. You are exactly who I created, and I call you mine. Now, rise, shine, live, because I fought so hard for you to see this, and now you do.